like you know how this goes.
Hey there, and welcome to TikTok Effect House. Today we're going to talk about how you can add interactions to your effect. In Effect House, interactions are preset subgraphs that you can add in one click to make your effect interactive. For example, you can add an interaction that will make an object appear or disappear when a person taps on the screen. There are a bunch of different types of interactions in Effect House that you can use to make your effect more dynamic and engaging. Interactions also offer different levels of customization and complexity, depending on your experience level. To make an object interactive, all you have to do is select the object in the hierarchy panel, then go over to the inspector panel and click Add Interaction. These listed interactions are available by default for any object, but I do want to note that there are specific interactions that can only show up for objects with specific components attached, like the image component, which we'll explore later in this tutorial. So let's get into some basic features. So for example, let's choose tap screen to toggle visibility, which will make the object appear or disappear when a person taps the screen. You can simulate tapping by clicking on the preview to see how the interaction works. You'll notice that the interaction subgraph appears in the visual scripting panel connected to the object's node. If you want more information about the interaction subgraph, you can just click on the information icon, which will display the definitions and a link to the Effect House website if you want to learn more. Now, this interaction subgraph offers a basic level of customization. Here, you can choose if you want to start with the objects hidden from view, click Start Hidden. If you want to customize interactions even more, you can double click on the interaction subgraph to see the next layer of subgraphs made up of an event trigger and event response. These trigger and response subgraphs essentially control the interactive behaviors in response to some kind of cue. In this case, the event trigger is touch, which corresponds to a person tapping on the screen. The consequent event response is visibility, which makes the object appear or disappear. If you want to go one level deeper for the highest level of customization, you can double-click on the subgraphs to access the most fundamental nodes and logic flows. One of the cool things about interactions is that you can add multiple interactions to an object. You can also mix and match event triggers and event responses to make your own interactions. So let's say I want to create an interaction that makes the object appear and disappear whenever a person opens their mouth. To do this, I can actually take the event trigger and event response subgraphs from different interactions and combine them to make my own interaction. So first, I'll go ahead and add the detect face movement to show/hide object interaction, since this interaction changes object visibility in response to facial movement. All I want from this interaction is the part that detects face movement. So I'll click into the detect face movement to show/hide object interaction, copy the event trigger that detects face movement, and then paste it in the main graph. Now I need an event response that controls object visibility. So I'll go into the tap screen to toggle visibility interaction, copy the event response that controls object visibility, and then paste it in the main graph, like that. Since I have all of my desired parts, I can just delete the original interaction subgraphs to clean up my visual scripting panel up a bit. Now all I have to do is connect the event trigger to the event response and connect my object node to the target. Then I'll change the event trigger's face movement to mouth open, since I want the object to appear and disappear whenever the person opens their mouth. Finally, I'll just change the preview video to show a person opening and closing their mouth. And that's it. I've just created a brand new interaction. Now keep in mind that there are many different ways to customize interactions. All we did was rearrange some subgraphs, but if you're a more advanced user, you can even tweak the base level nodes to your liking. There are lots of interaction types available for you to choose from, so get creative and use your imagination. Like I mentioned earlier, some interaction types are only available when specific components are attached. Let's take a look at how this works using the image component as an example. So first, let's go ahead and add an image object in the hierarchy panel. Click 3D image. This object already has an image component by default, which we can see in the inspector panel. When I click Add Interaction, I'll see some image-specific interactions available in the dropdown. These types of interactions are especially handy if you have your own texture assets that you want to use. So let's choose Tap Screen to transition image opacity. This causes the image to change opacity within a set period of time. Within the subgraph, I can change the opacity settings. I can either make the image fade out completely or fade in, change and 2 values, depending on what effect I want to achieve. I can also change how long it takes for the image to change opacity. And of course, if I want to customize the interaction even more, I can just play around with different layers of logic. And that's it. Now you can use interactions to enhance your effects. We can't wait to see what you make. For more information about adding interactions to your effect, be sure to check out our documentation at effecthouse.tiktok.com.